Hello Internet, I am coming to you from outside my house, where it is a balmy minus 14 degrees Celsius. Yippee! Also, I have what is possibly the worst head cold in all of head cold history, so that's just the icing on top of the cake, really. If you, like me, are wondering what I'm doing out here wandering around like a lunatic, well then let me clear things up. I'm grounded, with a capital G. For what I did, you can check out my last video. That pretty much shows you everything you need to know. I mean, after we finished filming that, Britt stormed downstairs and basically demanded that my dad ground me for an entire month. I had to laugh because I don't think my dad heard one word of Britt's 5-hour-long rant. He just sat there doing work till Britt stopped talking and then sentenced me to 2 weeks grounding with no chance of visitors or outings or anything like that. Britt looked pretty pleased with herself till she realized that since I can't go anywhere, that means she can't go anywhere. So she really screwed herself on that one. And since she's too arrogant to realize that she made any mistakes, she's blaming the whole thing on me. Aside from a couple swear words, she hasn't spoken 2 words to me since that night. It's been pretty great. But seriously, this grounding thing is getting out of control. I wasn't able to make a vlog last week because even though I know how to work YouTube now, I'm still mostly useless on a camera without Megan. I'm not even sure if this thing's recording right now. I hope it is. It was. Anyways, being grounded is also the reason why I'm out here. Because after one Firefly rewatch, endless Friends reruns, and a Star Wars marathon, I am getting unbelievably bored. Anything that I can do to get me out of the house is a welcome distraction. Speaking of, want to know an unwelcome distraction? Apparently, Britt has decided to get her own vlog, and this only days after getting after me for having mine. As always, hypocrisy reaches new lengths in my baby sister. I have no idea what she's going to talk about, or even when she's starting for that matter. But I'm sure it'll be sometime in the near and torturous future. On the plus side, there's a sweet fight at school today, and I will give you one guess as to who it involved. That's right, the one and only James Wright. I guess I haven't given you guys an update on James in a while. Well, since we last spoke, he has started being annoyingly nice to me. He's doing things like hanging around at my locker waiting to talk to me, holding doors open for me, and yesterday, he pulled my chair up for me before I sat down, and then pushed it in for me. I mean, who does this guy think he is? I have tried telling him a dozen times to leave me alone in the clearest and harshest ways possible, but he does not listen. And today, I found a poem taped to my locker from him. He wrote a bunch of BS about how wonderful I am, and then asked me if I wanted to go on a date with him on Friday. Unbelievable. You know, it's getting dark out, so I think I'm gonna head in. We'll pick this up in like 5 minutes after I make myself some coffee. Alright, I'm back inside and I want to talk more about this fight. The whole thing started right after school today when everyone's at their lockers getting ready to go. Our lockers are organized alphabetically, so thankfully James's locker is nowhere near mine, but one of his only friends has Grant McNeely, whose locker is right across the hallway from me. That means that James has every excuse to be constantly around my locker. I've mostly just resorted to hanging out with Megan when I can pry her away from Curtis's constant presence, that is. Normally I have things pretty well timed out so that I can just flat out avoid James, but today I was still putting my books in my bag when he showed up at Grant's locker a full 2 minutes earlier than normal. So at this point, my attention is focused solely on shoving my bag full of my stuff and getting out of there as fast as possible so that James doesn't notice me. I was so wrapped up in it, I didn't even notice him and Grant walking towards my locker until they were on either side of me. That's when James starts flirting with me, if you can call it that. Like doing stuff like stealing my lock and putting it on my locker backwards, or stealing my water bottle and throwing it back and forth between him and Grant. Just being a general jerk. I turn around, fix my lock, grab my bag, and then jab my elbow into James's stomach so that he drops my water bottle. At this point, Grant turns to James and is like, "Come on man, let's go, just lose her." To which James responds, "Who are you calling a loser?" It did not take long for things to escalate from there. Grant kept trying to explain himself, but every time he said the words "lose her," James just yelled at him louder for calling him a loser. Finally, James has had enough and just throws Grant up against the locker and starts wailing on him. I felt bad for Grant, but not bad enough to stick around and help him out. I mean, you hang out with guys like James, and sometimes that's just what you get. Don't worry though, the fight didn't last for long. I saw Hudson come running out of the music room to break it up as I left the passive hippie. The good news is, I heard James has to go to detention for an hour after school every day for the rest of the month, which means I will not be seeing him near my locker anytime soon. And it's great for Megan too, because now I can finally stop interrupting her persistent flirting with you-know-who. So, let's review today's events with a new segment called Winners and Losers. Winners? Me. Hopefully Grant will have the intelligence to tell James to piss off the next time he comes around, which means I may never see him in that hallway ever again. Losers? Grant, for getting repeatedly punched in the face. And James, who by profusely refusing to be called a loser, thoroughly proved that he is indeed a giant one. So there you have it. With any luck, I may never have to deal with James Wright outside of class ever again. And that is a good feeling.